We're going to talk about some must-have utilities today. Just some suggestions. Yep, as I said, John, you're right, the joys of technology. The first thing I want to do before I begin is warning that I am not an expert. This is just a collection of my opinions, ideas, and research. And when we're talking about utilities, these are things that can be a little tricky. If you're not paying attention or have your machine backed up, you can get into problems. Most of the time, I've been using these apps and have absolutely no problems. But if you're not familiar with it, you need to make sure that you read the instructions before we begin. And as I said, do you ever wonder how fast your computer is actually running? Do you ever wonder what type of motherboard you have? Or do you forget, like me, forget what type of motherboard you had? What's the best way to clean your registry? How about what neighborhood wireless networks are running in your neighborhood? And how about to clean up all the temporary junk files in your computer, how to download a video? As you know, a lot of times when you're surfing, you do get temporary junk files, and I'll show you how to get rid of those. We're discussing programs that experts recommend, and also getting input from you as to what programs you like and don't like. Okay, and also this applies to if you just got a computer, what are the type of stuff you want to put on it? Let's look at some of the things. The first thing you need to do when you get a computer is to make sure you got a good antivirus program. Not necessarily the one that came with the computer. Things have been changing over the last couple years with the advent of Windows 8. So some of the older virus programs do not work. But one of the best out there is Avast. It is still a very good program. However, it's getting a little bit more commercial and trying to hit you up to buy stuff. But you just got to click it or change some of the ads. But it does serve a very good purpose for helping you with the ads. Helping you with the software. Microsoft Security Essentials was good. It doesn't work with Windows 8 and above, and I think that they sort of started Windows 7 sort of getting rid of it, so it's something you may want to think about moving away from. You know, Avast is one of the most popular free antivirus out there, and it's been able to hold its own against other programs from Symantec and other programs. As I said, then we got, okay, I've got some of the stuff in here. It doesn't skimp on protection, but it does a good job. You got what Microsoft Security Essentials, which was very good. But again, it may not, if you're running Windows 8, it's not going to work. And Windows, and it's not getting updated as often as it was. The other thing, one of the programs that I want to talk about is Malwarebytes. It is a free program. It also works on Windows 8. And this is a good way to keep out the malware. The paid version will scan you automatically. The free version you have to update and scan. It's something you ought to do on a regular basis if you're out there surfing the internet. It can take about 10 minutes to scan, but it's well worth it to get out some of the stuff. It even gets out some of the other programs that you may not want to have on there. It's not hurting your computer, but it's just adware and that type of stuff. And it works on different computers, and you can check back with it on the false positives and the dangerous apps. More Malwarebytes. As I said, they got some other things out there. The AntiExploit, which is something good to check out to help, from you getting exploited. The anti-rootkit is a very good thing. It's in beta, but you can download it for free, and it runs. It runs and checks you on the rootkits. Now, one of the things that if you're having trouble, and a lot of times you get programs that take over your computer and won't allow you to run your antivirus. Malwarebytes Chameleon is a very good program to run. It comes in a number of extensions that usually you can get one of these to run to collect, to work on your machine. The machine will stop at ESE files. Okay, something wants to enlarge the chat area. I don't have any control over that. Maybe Francis can enlarge the chat area. I'm sorry about that. But Malwarebytes Chameleon is something that you can download, put on a flash drive, and if you're having trouble getting, trying to get, say, Avast or it's Malwarebytes or something to run on your computer, usually you can double-click on one of these extensions and it will work in the computer. It's very good for that type of thing. Process Explorer is a program that replaces the cumbersome Windows task menu, and this is an interesting area that you can check a lot of things and find out what's going on. But you need to know a little bit about what type of task icons and other data. But it's a good program if you're familiar with some of the things going on, that you can find out what's going on, and you can run this. You still get the information you get out of task menu, but a whole lot of other good information. It can tell you what's using what processes, the DLL, the threads, and what's using up so many machines. WinDirstat is something that is recommended out there, so that it's based on it. It allows and tells you about how much disk space you're using, hard disk usage. It analyzes external drive. This takes a little bit of time, but it's something interesting if you're interested in what's going on and what your hard drive looks like. And when you finish, you're going to have the colors and options, and it's going to tell you a little bit about what's going on on your computer. Okay. Now, one of the programs that is very well used a lot is called Valoric Advisor. Again, it just doesn't have a whole lot, but it doesn't do a whole lot other than tell you what's going on your computer. It does some benchmarking for computers, all the level security and the report that can view in the web browser. But the key thing about it is it tells you what's running and gives you some very useful information out of your computer. But it can show you the programs, how much you're using, how much RAM you have, what slots they're occupying, and a whole lot of data, what programs, and some of the keys. So this is one of the things that I would recommend, that if you want to know what's going on and what you got on your computer, this is very good to download and run. It doesn't do much other than analyze your computer. You can't really fix or do anything from here if you don't go into some other stuff, but here will allow you to determine what type of information you got on your computer. Watching the time here, I'm going a little too fast. It doesn't fix problems itself, but you can secure in the home system is you can find out what's going on, and then considering a hardware upgrade, if you're considering moving up, you can see what's in your current system and what you need to do. The CPUZ is a very interesting program if you're into this type of stuff, to want to know a little bit about your CPU. This gives you all sorts of interesting statistics. Now, if you run it, it's all you're going to do is tell you what's going on if you don't start fixing things. But here is a very good program if you want to find out all about your CPU, what it's doing, where it's moving stuff. Now, a lot of other programs are out there that tell you the same thing. And these are just some that I have used, and some that find that don't take a whole lot of space. And doing that, CPUZ is just an executable. It doesn't take up registries or anything else. But, again, as I said, Dick just recommended he likes, and I've heard of it, SPACY. But again, it does Valoric and tells you different things. There are many different programs out there, and the part of this is just to give you a basic idea that there are programs out there that will give you information about what is going on. System cleaners. Everybody wants to have a clean system. One of the most popular out there, we're going to talk about two of the most popular. Glare Utilities is the one that I like. It has a well-organized interface, and you can choose some different looks. It cleans unwanted junk files and removes invalid and broken shortcuts, freeing up disk space. Some people have problems running, registry cleaners because they don't want to mess up the registry. I have been running this program for probably 4 or 5 years and have not had any problems out there. It fixes stuff and takes out links. It's not that aggressive of a registry cleaner. It does clean, but it doesn't go back in and make bad mistakes. It cleans out duplicates and some other things you want to run. What it cleans up in the registry is probably going to save you about 1 millisecond of a second. So other than that, it just cleans it up so you won't have problems and you get stuff taken out of. But one of the things it does do, it allows you to clean up and manage your memory programs, but it also gets rid of those temporary junk files and gets rid of those unwanted links when you've got broken shortcuts, and it gets rid of those. Now, before you can remove them, you can click on them and see each one of what you want to taken out of. And that's just the one thing. They've got tools to manage your startup programs and memory optimization. I mean, I could spend a whole program here just talking about what Glare Utilities can do and do for you. But this is one you need to make sure before you start playing around in it too much that you know what you're doing. So the other one is, okay, and it appreciates its inclusion of government standard file shredder. It's got a government file shredder in it. Okay, the other popular one we talk about is CC Cleaner. That a lot of people use this. Sometimes I have to run it twice, but it does a good job with Glare Utilities to run and clean what you're doing. And the one good thing about CC Cleaner, excuse me, is that it will allow you to ask you if you want to back up your registry before you clean anything. And one of the things you can do, and this allows it very easily to do, you clean it, you can back it up, and you can check each one. But I've never had any problems with having to click on anything and go back. It's very good about what it does. And it also has a rudimentary uninstaller for removing any programs on your machine. Again, you've got several programs that will remove what's going on and also remove other data files. The one thing is tracking cookies. And the good thing about this is you can go back in and plus and check the cookies you want to get rid of. While cookies can slow your machine down a little bit, you're going to find out that cookies, for the most part, will save you some typing when you go back in. So you can go back in and add and remove cookies, what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep on the machine. So it's got a very good way of dealing with cookies. Now, Advanced System Care is one that's popular out there too. It's a one-stop shopping. And again, you've got a lot of things you can do. It's free. And you just have to make sure that you're very careful about what you're doing in all these system cleaners to make sure that that you're not, getting too aggressive on what you're doing if you're not really positive about what's going on. Now, again, some of these things, if you're running take up more resources than others, and it depends on your machine of what's going on, so you have to go from there. And some of these things we'll get back on and let you read later on if you wanted to do it. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other programs. Again, you know, you got to check out some stuff. Useful programs. One of the things that, if you've ever been to a thing and listened to Yuri Paplok, who's running the Antivirus channel, talk about Evernote. It is a very functional program that I'd recommend that everybody have. It is free, and it works on all desktops, computers, mobile phones, over the web, and it's a useful note-taking tool. You can have it running on your phone. It can upload your pictures, and so you can create you know, backups. And the one thing about this is, if you'll notice in some of the other cloud presentations, that you need to be able to have cross-platform. You have a desktop computer, say, running Windows 7, but you've got an iPad and an iPhone, or an iPad and an Android phone, and you want to keep track of some of the different things that are going on, or taking notes. Evernote is one of the programs that I'd recommend that you can pick up and put, you know, one computer, and works very well on all computers and backs up to the server, so you can keep track of what's going on. You know, as I said, it does OCR on your images. You can use it to grab whiteboards. You can take pictures. One of the major things that I do, and I've got some useful tips from Huey's presentation, is, you know, when either Chrome, I'm assuming it works in Firefox and Windows Explorer, is that you can highlight something and send it to Evernote. You can highlight the page, you can highlight a line, highlight a picture, and send it to Evernote so you can sort it out later. And when you get into Evernote, I mean, you can sort things by tags so that you can find things, and it'll also search by word. So it's a good program in itself to be able to help you get organized. Even if you're not organized, it'll do its best to try to help you. And we're going to change the subject here and go back a little bit to VLC Media Player. It is a, yes, Evernote is free. One of the things that Evernote does have a paid plan if you want to upload more stuff per month, what's going on. The reason I installed VLC Media Player on this is that it works across platforms. It plays a lot of platforms that and codecs that you may not be able, that you get now that people are using Windows phones and audio, you know, Android phones, iPhones, and you're getting some different codecs, or that's the mechanism that codes the video, that sometimes they won't play on your machine. Windows Media Player will not play them. And if you listen to in Windows 8, you didn't get a DVD player. But VLC Media Player will play DVDs. And it is cross-platform, and you can put it on your computer, laptop, phone, that type of thing. So it's a good way of streaming and the different protocols out there, instead of having download programs with Windows Media Player. So it's a good backup to use, and is also on the phone and other places. Okay. Now, there are many different programs out there that work for list. I just happened to pick this one called Wunderlist for work, home, and play. And it is a list capturing process that you can share. I mentioned that for a friend of mine that he ought to get it so he and his wife can share tasks. what to do, and you ought to see the look he gave me. But this is an interesting way of sharing lists, again, over platforms. Evernote will take notes and do this, but this is just a simple program designed to do lists. So when you do it, you check it off. It also syncs with your Facebook events to do, and everything I think syncs to Facebook nowadays, and also your Google task list. So you can cross reference the different tasks and different things you need to do. So I picked it up. I happen to like it. It's simple. On the phone, you just make a list, and when you want to get it done and when you don't. There are many different to-do lists. There are many different other things that have got these lists. We could sit for hours, but what I wanted to be able to show with these is they're programs that can go very complicated and very detailed to get stuff done, and other programs that are very simplistic to get stuff done. You know, like you have Microsoft Word is a very comprehensive word processing program, but there are an awful lot of other programs out there that will allow you to just write a letter. You know, WordPad. You know, you can get a lot of stuff done just on WordPad without having to go out. So what you need to do is to find out what programs work for you and what programs won't. You want to have simple lists and also simple list, as opposed to getting complicated and having to find stuff. And it will sync with other programs. Okay, when you share them, I don't do influence the world, but you can share them what's going on. Run the list, what's going on. Okay, one of I'm bopping around here in a whole different trend of stuff going on, but what I wanted to talk about is Insider. And as I said, right now the version is 3.1.2.1. But what it does is if you run it and you're on a Wi-Fi connection, if you're on a Ethernet connection, it's not going to tell you much. But again, this is the one program that can run from your phone, from your tablet, and you can walk into an area and see what Wi-Fis are available and the strengths of those Wi-Fis and what bands they're running on. It gives you a whole lot of information to the people that to the people that really want detailed information, or the people that do not need detailed information. You can just find out what's going on. So we can go back. That's an interesting program to run. I don't know how many people over here, especially with user groups, have people that call them up and want to be able to access their computer, or they want additional help. And you say, hey, I wish that I could see what's going on in their computer. Well, TeamViewer is a program that will allow you to do that. You can have it installed on your computer, and you can send a link to somebody else and they can install it. Now, one of the things about TeamViewer is that they can install it just as a standalone program. So you install it, it's once, you use it, and it's gone. Or you can keep it on their computer to be able to access their computer. One of the great things about this is that each time you have to access a computer, that you have to get a code to get it in. You need to have the other person's ID information, which is their unique number with TeamViewer, and then you need to have their they'll give you a 4-digit passcode and to get in, and that changes each time. So they can have it on their computer. So when they so each time that you log in, you get a different number. So you know, you can deal it, and they can feel safe that you can't get into their computer. And one of the great things about this TeamViewer is it will allow you to hook into a VPN to your own computer if you have it turned on. I can log in to my home computer from my laptop and run any program from my laptop, just like I'm working on it from here. So it's a great way if you have, you know, want to get into your work computer, and it allows you to do it on a laptop. You can use TeamViewer from your phone and TeamViewer from your tablet to be able to get into a program. And you can transfer files and do different things. So it's a quite remote program, and allows you, as I said, to troubleshoot what's going on. You know, you can take control of their screen and do different things to point it out, or you can watch them and tell them what to do. And it also has support now for the 2 screens. As I said, one of the gentlemen here today was logging into his home computer to be able to get some stuff done. And when he clicked on something, he had it set up so it goes onto the other screen. So he was able to process and view both the screens, not at the same time, but he was able to move over from one screen to another and to manipulate it, so that if you got 2 screens, you can still utilize it from your laptop to get information that's going on. Okay. So I'm trying to catch up a little bit on these the chats to see if anybody has any questions. So does anybody? I'm running a little fast on my talking. And again, you know, the one good thing about this is you can do this 24/7. You know, if you got the friends that wake up in the middle of the night that have problems, you can get it anytime you want to do it. And you can access your data applications anytime. And your home office, or as I said, you can access any other computer, you know, from your other computer that you want to. I've given many home presentations on cloud storage, but just want to let you know it's out there. Right now I'm talking about Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive as for the top. As you notice, the Dropbox is just put out a program that you can get, I think, up to unlimited storage for a certain program. But so they're all competing on what's going on. It's an Android cloud with the music programs. You know, the big 3, the Microsoft with OneDrive, Google Drive, and the Amazon storage is going to be big on coming up and giving you whole lots of free storage. But some of these other smaller ones are still probably going to fit in some niche markets and to be able to work a little bit better, to be able to do it. Dropbox doesn't give you as much storage, but it gives you an awful lot of opportunity to share files very easily. Box does too. It's a little bit not quite as easy on some of the others. You got to have an account. So that you know, each one of these is you know, as secure as what it can be. I do not recommend backing up financial data to the cloud. That's just my personal preference. I like to back up either to a flash drive or to a you know, a DVD. Usually I just back up to a flash drive. That, you know, I access my financial information directly from my computer to my bank's websites and to the other websites and do what I need to do. And I really don't save a whole lot of financial information on my computer and I'm one of these people, you know, that hopefully maybe if someone breaks in, they're going to feel sorry for me and actually put money in my account. But, you know, what I recommend is find out what's easier for you. And some people have 2 or 3 of them. I've got quite a few more than that, you know, to share information. You know, as I said, in additional information, you know, some of these things are real cheap and depends on what you want to share. So you can have it, you know, you can share it on the cloud. You can also have a home server or backup drives. You know, USB drives are cheap. You can plug it in, back it up, unplug it, or you just make yourself a bunch of USB stuff. Okay. Now we're talking about how secure. One of the things you want to be secure is password manager. One of the programs you got is RoboForm, which is very popular. As I said, if you haven't had it, I would download the Dave Gerber does a very excellent presentation that's up on the website that gives you all the details of RoboForm and what it does. Another one that is important is LastPass. And it does the same thing. It's free. It's got different positives and negatives. And I could sit here for, you know, another couple hours and we can argue the difference between this. And Gerber just mentions that if you send to him nicely, he does have free licenses for RoboForm. And I would recommend that you download it, go to APCUG videos, and look on Gerber or look up RoboForm, because that's an excellent presentation. And I'll just give Dave a plug. Dave will, more than willing, if you get it, I'm sure, give a presentation to your group. If he can't, I'm sure he'll allow you to use his video from the presentation he gave, which is very good. And, you know, you got people out there to use LastPass, people out there to use RoboForm. I've got a couple more. There's a couple other password managers that I have. Jim Evans keeps finding these and posting them, and I keep having them. I think he's now back to LastPass on his. But there were a couple other free ones out there that seem to work, that work very well. And I would recommend that you do get one, because what happens is that the RoboForm is good, again, between different devices. LastPass does the same thing, but RoboForm has a Go everywhere, and so you put in a password. So you have one encrypted password you got to remember to get into your password manager, and then you can get all the rest of the passwords. And so RoboForm has done a very good job of doing that. LastPass does the same thing, but you can pick up passwords, you know, on the road in different devices. Oh, Jim says he loves Dashlane as a password manager. As Jim is usually cutting edge on some of these programs. I think he downloads more stuff than I do, so I try it out. But I've got a couple licensed for RoboForm, and I like it. So I do recommend that. And a lot of people like LastPass. You know, the key point in here is that along with security, you ought to use a password manager, because it will allow you to generate a password or put passwords in. At this day and age, we're having more and more senior moments, or you know, you need to change your password, so it allows you to change one and put it in there, and you can change them automatically and not have to worry about what's going on. So I got 15 minutes. I'm still doing good here. Okay, browsers. Okay, now everybody needs a browser. Now again, there are a whole lot of them out there. You've got the Chrome browser, and you've got Firefox, and do I have, okay, whoops, I thought I had, and I didn't even put Internet Explorer in here. I thought I had it. Now these are the two, other than Internet Explorer, that's always usually comes on the machine, are three of the popular. There are a whole lot of other browsers out there that do different things. Opera, you can pick up and do different things. Now, some of these, the reason I happen to like Chrome and Firefox, I use Chrome, but Firefox is keeping up there a little bit, is the extensions that allows you to do different things. Remember when I talking about Evernote? You can right click, or you can click a little extension at the top and do something. IE has a couple plugins, programs that work, but Firefox and Chrome tend to have more and allow you to do different things. So, one of the things you could actually spend a whole night just talking about the extensions that you can use on Chrome and how much time it could save you. Is so that you can, check things out. So one of the things is to find something you like and stick with it that works. And as I said, some people say, well, I can't pick up all the stuff in Chrome. Both the Chrome and the Firefox have IE extensions, so stuff will work in there, so we can move it on. We're getting here down towards the end. I don't know how many people in here actually have heard of Rollback. It's a very robust utility. Now, it does have a little issues with some of these newer drives that have some information on the front. But what it does is it works prior to the startup, and it backs up your system. And what it does, it takes a snapshot every so often. So one of the things, if you talk about the rollback or the system restore in Windows, is that it restores basically the registry. It does not restore any of the files or any other thing that got changed. But a lot of times, you get malware in your computer and you don't want to spend a whole lot of time or you can't get it out. Well, what you do is on rollback, if you had it in your system, you can roll your whole system back before the time you got the malware or the program you stick in that didn't work. So, and the system will go back exactly like it was. So you don't have to do other than click and roll back to that time. And you can have it set up to roll back on special times or when you do special things. So I know a lot of people that get ready to install a program will do a rollback screen print or rollback print. So they have it, and then they install a program. That program goes south. They can back up the computer to where it was before they restalled the program. Because a lot of times uninstalling a program still leaves some problems. Okay, everybody's got some different stuff in their advertising. I hope you've been reading the chat a little bit because they've been giving some useful information. So as I said, I talked about Windows system restore can only restore system files, rollback restores everything. And it also removes the daily backups of carrying duplicate images of a hard drive. So basically it clones your drive every time. If you have it start up and every day, it makes a clone of your system, and it does not use that much space. You just keep a 14-day supply, or you could have, when I was using it before I started going to Windows 8 and some of these other programs, I kept a couple. When my system set up, you can actually save some of those setup files, so I know where it was when I set the computer up like I liked it, and then I have it set up at certain times when I add different things. You can lock it so you don't get rid of them. Other than that, I only saved them for 14 days to go back in case I did it, because usually you can within 2 or 3 days if you got a problem. I said more recently I've been having problems with the Windows update giving my computers problems than the other programs. It takes a minimal resources and takes a snapshot every 2 to 3 seconds. And you can, it can be used by administrators and that type of stuff. So if you administer a bunch of programs, a bunch of computers, this really works. Okay. Any computer person that does any web creating or any graphics or anything, you need to get Snagit. This is not a free program, but it is one of the best programs out there that I could recommend. Every time I put together Windows presentations, like the S up in Snagit, you know, you're not going to be able to download a graphic every once in a while, but you want to download a screen print. And you've seen Francis's screen prints. And they got arrows. You can draw little arrows that point it out when you're making presentations. Or it's just, you can, you know, even though in Chrome, I mean, in Evernote, you can screen capture. Sometimes it doesn't capture the way you want it to because it maybe capture HTML. But one of the things you can do with Snagit is you can capture just bits and pieces of the thing because you draw the square box. And what you want, then it takes it to a thing, you can draw a little arrow, put it in, and then you save that, and you put that in Evernote or the other program you want to save. So you made yourself a note, but you can make some notes on it, which you can still do in Evernote. But this will take images, take videos, and it's very quick and very easy to use, and I recommend it. I said, no matter what you're working on, you can capture great images and videos with just a few clicks, and you can share something. I mean, they've got JAG, they got a whole bunch of things to share videos. As I said, Greg West probably can talk to you a lot about one of the sister programs, Camtasia. But Snagit is useful if you're working on creating videos. You know, you want to grab what's going on. So I recommend it. And you can easily customize your screen capture with effects. This is one of the things I like. Someone asked me, you know, where to do something. I can go in, I can take a quick screen capture of it. I can put an arrow in it and then say, click here, and send it to somebody and tell them this is where you got to go. Or 2 pictures. So it's very easy for helping somebody out. As I said, Windows comes with a snipping tool, but it's not anywhere near as useful as Snagit, and it's well worth it if you want to do images in minutes. And you can, again, create videos. So I've got about 8 minutes. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. This is the last slide I've got. But, you know, Windows 7 had a whole lot of widgets. There's a thing out there called X widgets that can get in, but you really got to be detailed because some of these may be able to access your computers. But if you like putting little things about keeping time and weather and stuff, it's good. But I think widgets are probably going to be going. I'm not using them as much now that Windows 8 has got the live tiles. Because I can find out some of the information from a live tile that I used to be able to get from a widget other than putting a clock on the screen, because I like to see what time it is, you know, no matter what I look. And you can do that. So as I said, now we're down to about 5 minutes, so we can take a couple questions. Anybody has any questions before I turn it back over to who I'm going to turn it back over to? And I want to thank you. If you have any great programs or think you something that you think I ought to check out, I am always updating this program because some people keep asking me, you know, what are the programs? And, you know, I'll give this to different groups. And some of the programs are going, as I said, after today, I'm probably going to take out the Windows Essentials out of this and add, as I said, the other 2 right now that are free are Kaspersky, I never say that right, and AVG are probably coming up and nipping on the heels of Avast for free programs. So again, I do want to remind you that after this program, they will be putting hopefully the slideshow up on the net, and also this video. And again, if you have any questions, I do have some videos and presentations that I give, and I will tell you that my presentations go a whole lot better when I have questions and answers to intersperse in here, because we have a little bit better interaction in talking about different programs.
David, this is Huey.
Yes, it's time for me to shut up.
I do want to suggest to everyone that they take a look. There's quite a few suggestions of other programs, similar programs and so on that other people have used in the chat box. We will capture the chat box and make some of that information available as well. The PowerPoint, your slideshow will be up fairly quickly on the website. It does take us a little time to get the videos completed. But we need to get ready for the next session. Do you want to do a final summary, and we'll end the recording?
No, I want to thank everybody. And again, Judy asked me, yes, this presentation is available to give to user groups. And they said, don't forget it. They said, I do recommend Huey's Evernote presentation is one of the best ones out there to how to use some of these useful programs, because we could have a webinar or a presentation on some of these different gadgets. And I'm gonna let Huey go away. I mean, I'm gonna go away and let Huey do it. And thank you very much, Huey. Thank you, Jim. And we'll talk to you later.